जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय जगन्नाथ जय जय बलादेवा जय सुभद्रा। जय गौरनिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरनिता। जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरे। जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरे। गौरा गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। निताय गौर हरि बोल। निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो। जय गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। निताय गौर हरि बोल। नदिय बिहारी गौर हरि नदिय बिहारी गौर हरि। मायापुर चंद्रा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि। Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. देवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन केसी भक्ति वेदांत संशुपाद की जाए। देवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन केसी भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जाए। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाए। नमाचार्य श्रीदास ठाकुर की जाए। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिगोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगामय यमुनामयी की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All reach to assemble devotees, Hare Krishna. All reach to assemble devotees, Hare Krishna. All reach to assemble devotees, Hare Krishna. All reach, all reach, all reach, all reach to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Prabhupada ki jai. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय पुत्रे श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्राम नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 2, titled Divinity and Divine Service, verse number 2 and 3. Please chant, repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayat. Nasta prayeshu भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Verse number 2 from Canto 1, Chapter 2. Suta vacha yam pravrajantam anupetamapeta krutyam द्वैपायनो विरहकातराजुहावा पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवो अभिनेदुस् तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिम् आनतोऽस्मि। सूत उवाच यं प्रव्रजन्तम् अनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातराजुहावा पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवो अभिनेदु तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिम् आनतोऽस्मि। सूत उवाच यं प्रव्रजन्तम् अनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातराजुहावा पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवो अभिनेदु तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिम् आनतोऽस्मि. Word to word translation. Suta Goswami Uvacha said, Yam, whom, Pravrajantam, while going away from the renounced order of life. 1 minute. Reading from Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse number 2. Translation. Pravrajantam, while going away for the renounced order of life, anupetam, without being reformed by the sacred thread, apeta, not undergoing ceremonies, krutyam, prescribed duties, dvaipayanaha, vyasadeva, viraha, separation, kataraha, being afraid of, ajhvava, exclaimed, putra iti, O my son, tat mayataya, being absorbed in that way, taravaha, all the trees, abhinedu, responded, tam, unto him, sarva, all, bhuta, living entities, pradayam, heart, munim, sage, anata asmi, offer obeisances. Translation by Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Sukapad ki jai. Srila Sukadeva Goswami said, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto that great sage, Sukadeva Goswami, who can enter the hearts of all. When he went away to take up the renounced order of life, sannyasa, leaving home without undergoing reformation by the sacred thread or the ceremonies observed by the higher caste, his father Vyasadeva, fearing separation from him, cried out, O my son, indeed only the trees which were absorbed in the same feelings of separation echoed in response to the begrieved father. Please repeat. Srila Sukadeva Goswami said, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto that great sage Sukadeva Goswami, who can enter the hearts of all. When he went away to take up the renounced order of life, sannyasa, leaving home without undergoing reformation by the sacred thread or the ceremonies observed, observed by the higher caste, his father Vyasadeva, fearing separation from him, cried out, O my son, indeed only the trees which were absorbed in the same feelings of separation echoed in response to the begrieved father. Verse number 4 from Canto 1, Chapter 2. Yasvanubhavam akila shruti saramekam adhyatmadipam atititirshataam tamondam samsarinam karunaya purana guhyam tam vyasasunam upayami gurum muninam. Yasvanubhavam akila shruti saramekam adhyatmadipam atititirshataam tamondam samsarinam karunaya purana guhyam tam vyasasunam upayami gurum muninam. One more time. Yasvanubhavam akila shruti saramekam adhyatmadipam atititirshataam tamondam samsarinam karanayah purana guhyam tam vyasasunam upayami gurum muninam. Word-to-word translation. He who swa anubhavam, self-assimilated, experienced, akila, all around, shruti, the Vedas, saram, cream, ekam, the only one, adhyatma, transcendental, deepam, torchlight, atititir shatam, desiring to overcome, tama andam, deeply dark material existence, samsarinam, of the materialistic man, karunaya, out of causeless mercy, aha, said, purana, supplement to the Vedas, guhyam, very confidential, tam, unto him, vyasasunam, the son of Vyasadeva, upayami, let me offer my obeisances. Gurum, the spiritual master, muninam, of the great sages. Translation. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him, Suka, the spiritual master of all sages, the son of Vyasadeva, who out of his great compassion for those gross materialists who struggled to cross over the darkest regions of material existence, spoke this most confidential supplement to the cream of Vedic knowledge after having personally assimilated by experience. Please repeat. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him, Suka, the spiritual master of all sages, the son of Vyasadeva, who out of his great compassion for those gross materialists who struggle to cross over the darkest regions of material existence, spoke this most confidential supplement to the cream of Vedic knowledge after having personally assimilated by experience. Okay, we'll try to understand. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Gnananjanasarakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langete Girim Yat Krupa Tamam Vande Sri Gurum Devatarana Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitaram Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Vaishnavanda Ki Jai. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। श्री रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। Thank you for joining. So we are discussing from Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 2, Divinity and Divine Service, very important chapter, in verse number 2 and 3. So after asking questions by Saunaka and other rishis in Naimisharanya to Suka Goswami, then Saunaka, after asking, then obviously Suka Goswami was very happy. Last week we discussed what kind of questions we should ask and with what consciousness, with what attitude. Is mentioned finally, the recipient, the disciple, the practitioner, the student must be very submissive and serve the master, the spiritual master, the teacher in a submissive way and serve him continuously, regularly, as much as possible. Then by that sincere service, menial service, automatically the questions will become perfect and also the exchanges of those questions and answers will become perfect and it will bring enlightenment to the disciple and ultimately he will be able to progress in the path of bhakti and then finally attain Krishna Prema. So that's what has been described in the previous verse. Samprasna Samhrusta. Now, so this is Vyasadeva was speaking, the previous verse. After hearing Suka Goswami, how he congratulated the speaker, congratulated the Saunaka and other rishis who were asking these wonderful, beautiful questions, not about themselves, but asking about the highest subject matter, transcendental subject matter, for the benefit of all, for the people to come in future. Now, in this question, so Prabhupada explains Anatosmi, offering obeisance. Prabhupada is explaining in many places, offering obeisances whenever we do, that means more remembering the spiritual master, acharyas, and not only, it means their activities, not just offering obeisances. We must remember the spiritual master and his activities before speaking. So that's why Suka Goswami, you could have spoke directly, but before speaking, he immediately remembered and is offering his obeisances to his spiritual master whom he has heard from. In the assembly of Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, he was there, Suka Goswami. He has heard from his spiritual master Sukadeva Goswami. So that's why he is offering obeisances. So Prabhupada explaining, as we chant that Pranam mantra, Namavam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Putale, who has taken shelter at the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, Lord Vishnu, Krishna Prishtaya Putale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta. Then we chant that name of the spiritual master, Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Then Namaste Saraswati Devi. Then his spiritual master. It is not Saraswati. Prabhupada corrected in sometime in classes also he told. It's not Saraswati. The one who is Saraswati means is the disciple who has brought is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciple Srila Prabhupada. So that's why the Namaste Saraswati Devi. We shouldn't say Saraswati. Saraswati. Yes, A. And there is a line on the top of A. So it's a prolonged A. So Saraswati Devi. So it's here Sukadeva Goswami is offering his obeisances and describing who is this Sukadeva Goswami, what is his character, what is his position. He is describing briefly here. Yam pravrajantam anupetam apeta krutyam. Very important words. Pravrajantam, anupeta and apeta krutyam. These three words are important. And then maybe first we will discuss. Sukadeva Goswami is not an ordinary person. Is a transcendent enlightened. He was there in the womb of Vyasadev's wife. So in his mother's womb, he was there for 16 years. Not 9 months, not 10 months, not 11 months, but 16 years. And it is very interesting to know that is also how he has entered into the womb. It was very interesting pastime. So when Radha and Krishna, I heard from someone else, I didn't hear from Sri Prabhupada, but it is very interesting to know. And there could be many pastimes why he is called Suka, and then, but I don't know too much about it, but at least I will share this pastime. It was very interesting. So that's why it's not ordinary person. So Sukadeva Goswami, after Radha and Krishna left, and they went back to their just like Krishna left this planet. But the parrot of Srimati Radharani is Suka, called, but they left the parrot here in this world. So just like previous verse we read in the first chapter, first canto, first chapter. Krishna Swadham Upagate Dharma Gnanadi Bisa Kalau Nasta Drusama Isa Purana Arko Duno is the last question in the first chapter. So where did all the religion dharma has taken shelter after Krishna left? So Krishna also left, Srimati Radharani also left. So then where? So it is in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam ultimately. As the sun arisen, like that Srimad Bhagavatam has arisen. So same way now after they left, Suka was also there. Parrot was left here. Parrot didn't go. They didn't take parrot. So for a purpose obviously. So then Suka was searching because Suka was nicely hearing about Krishna Katha every day from Srimati Radharani and her associates. So now after they left, he was bereaved. Then he was searching throughout this whole world where he can hear Krishna Katha. Especially not from anybody and everybody, from a self-realized great Vaishnava. Then he found he was in Kailash. Then he saw Lord Shiva speaking to Mother Parvati, glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then he is speaking, and others also there. So this time, then at that time Suka walks in, he is seeing Lord Shiva in Samadhi stage, and then is closed his eyes and he is continuously speaking the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Parvati Devi has in the middle of that, as Lord Shiva was explaining, she fell asleep. But Suka was hearing that katha. Then whatever Lord Shiva was asking questions, did you hear that? Did you understand that? Then he used to reply in the form of same tone as Parvati Devi, and then Suka started replying, so that because this Bhagavatam will keep on going on, Lord Shiva will continue to speak. So then in that way Suka heard everything. And then finally he heard, and then he left from there. And then when everything ended, then then Lord Shiva asked, did you understand? Then then Parvati said, no. Then who replied? Who said this? Then he was searching everywhere. Then he taken Trishul and went back. He was trying to search who has heard and who replied in this. who has received this knowledge. So then finally, obviously, Lord Shiva will be able to know. Then he found Suka parrot has heard this. Then he was running, chasing the parrot. Then finally, parrot was searching, going, running. Then he entered into the assembly of Vyasdev. Vyasdev was speaking with his disciples, Jaimuni, Vaisampayana, and others, Sumanta and others, other disciples. Then at that time, obviously his wife was there, Yanning. And then that time, Suka entered into the womb of Vyasdev's wife. So this is one pastime I heard. So there could be many other pastimes interrelated with it. It's beautiful. So that's why that is the one aspect of it. You can understand. This is not ordinary. He heard from also directly from Sri Radha Shyamsundar, Radha and Krishna every day as a parrot, obviously. Krishna and Radha, Srimad Radharani has so many parrots and cows and so many are there, monkeys, pet animals. But here specifically Suka, the parrot has heard so many days, so many months and years from them, and also now he has heard from the greatest Vaishnava Metasambo, from Lord Shiva. So more and more sweetening of this glories of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna by hearing from these Vaishnavas. And so now he has entered in the womb of Vyasdev's wife. Vyasdev was already searching for that personality, is also looking, I think by the mercy of divine arrangement. This has happened, obviously, because spiritual master is always looking for disciple who can broadcast the glories. Like Narada Muni always want to make disciples, want to preach these glories, who can take it on. So he has made, like Prahlad Maharaj also in the same category. In my womb of Mother Kayadu, I think I heard many years, not just 1 year, not 9 months. Prahlad Maharaj also there in the womb for many years, it seems. Many years, not just 1 year. So many years, Kayadu didn't remember anything. It was spoken to Kayadu, but Kayadu didn't hear, but the actual person who is in the womb, Prahlad Maharaj heard, he was able to grasp and remember. When he came out, he was perfect Vaishnava. So he, from the childhood itself, Kaumara Matret Pragno Dharman Bhagavatam Tadapi Adroam Artadam Apiha Loke. That's why yes, when he came out, he was teaching his son, friends, Sanda and Amarka in the school of demon school. He was teaching all his friends, classmates about the Bhagavad Dharma, what he should do. He taught his father also. And he brought him, okay, what did you learn? Then immediately, Mr. Demoniac, leader of Demoniac, he was very happy because that's what he wanted to be called. He is thinking he is God. Tatsadu manye asuravarya dehina itvatma patam gruhamanda kopam manangatova harimaspret. The greatest thing is one must take shelter of Supreme Lord Hari, Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. Then became very angry. So we see that. So that's why Prahlad Maharaj was very much enlightened by Narada Muni. So in this way, Narada Muni made so many. This hunter became Valmiki. So Narada Muni made so many disciples, and Vyasdev also is disciple. So now Vyasdev is also looking. But who was his sons before? Dhritarashtra, Pandavas. They are also exalted, as well Pandavas. But they didn't take up, they were Kshatriyas, they didn't take up the position of a preacher. So now, so obviously, and Vyasdev also other disciple like Jaimuni and Vaisampayana and others, he was also morose. So it is coming to the point. So that's why this incident has also happened. So things doesn't happen by chance. Everything has a reason, and they have to be in that perfect state of consciousness for things to happen. So Vyasdev was looking for a personality, so that's why this has happened. Then Suka entered and he was there for 16 years. Sukadeva Goswami was there in the womb of 16 years. Then Vyasdev was, what is this, what's happening these many years? Then he was asking him to come out. Then he told, no, I don't want to come out. In this material world, everybody, as soon as they, in the womb, as soon as they come out, they will be attracted by the father, mother, other friends, and brothers, cousins, and extended family, and so many. They will be had to have so many duties to perform and so many things they cut up. So Sukadeva Goswami, after hearing these glories and the pure, uncontaminated glories of the Supreme Lord, then he didn't want to be part of any of this in this material world. He didn't want to be in the mode of goodness or passion or ignorance. He want to be in Visuddha Sattva. So then that's what he told. Because I don't want to come out until I get the promise that I will not be attracted by Maya. Then Vyasadeva prayed to Krishna. He is not, my son is not coming out. Please help. So Krishna was in Dwaraka at that time. He left. I think he went back. Vyasadeva was praying to Krishna. Then by Krishna, then Krishna spoke to Sukadeva Goswami, who is in the womb. Then he asked for a promise not to be attracted by Maya. Then Krishna told, okay, I will give only fraction of a second, few seconds, like a mustard seed putting on a cow horn. It will not stay for a long time. It will drop immediately. So that much time only. Then Sukadeva Goswami was happy. Already, even just that time is enough. So that's why as soon as he came out from the mother's womb at 16 years, then immediately he left that place. He didn't even stop for a second. As soon as he came out, naked, no clothes, nothing, and then he left, walked away as though he was, because he was not of this world. He didn't, so that's why it is mentioned pravrajantam. Pravrajantam means it is Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya. Prabhupada explains that there are in Sannyasa Ashram there are four steps. First one is Kutichaka, Bahudaka, second one Bahudaka, and third one is Paramahamsa, third one is Parivrajikacharya, fourth one is Paramahamsa. So the Kutichaka means one who goes from Grihastha to Vanaprastha. Then at that time Kutichaka means he will be staying outside the home, in that same village, same place, same town. He may be accepting, his wife might be sending a carriage or something still, but he is not in the home, he is outside, staying in a mud hut or whatever. So that is called Kutichaka. It is a step-by-step program. That's why devotion, whatever we do, everything must be done systematically, slowly, gradually. If you do anything suddenly, all of a sudden, then it creates a great disturbance in the society, in the family, so wherever we are. So we should be always cognizant of those facts. So here also, that's why this ashram also is divided in these four categories. Then from Kutichaka, then next step is Bahudaka. That means then he will not accept food from his home. Then he will go to each and few homes and accept. It's not from one home. He will accept Bahudaka means many places, many homes, just to the whatever he needs, limited, not so much to eat. Whatever they give, he has to be satisfied with whatever he gets. And then he will just honor that for that day. So in that way, that is called Bahu, the next stage. Because it's a step by step, it's a gradual process to move to those stages. Then Kutichaka, Bahudaka, then next stage is Parivrajikacharya. That means now he was in a village, then he was from town to town, then now he has to Parivrajikacharya means traveling all over the world, country to country, one state to another state, like that. It is called Parivrajikacharya. So that's what in ISKCON we see. So when we chant a Prema Dhvani prayer, Devam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya. They are always distributing the glories of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the message. Yare dekho tare kaho Krishnopadesh, Amara Agna Guru Hanadesh. Under my order, broadcast this message, glories of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So, on the order of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Goswami Prabhupada has done this work throughout the world, so many countries. Now, under the order of Sri Prabhupada, his disciples are doing this wonderful work of distributing Krishna Katha. So now here, so this is started from Sukadeva Goswami. You can see Sukadeva Goswami has heard within the womb 16 years. Before that, he has heard discussing from Lord Shiva. Has heard. Before that, he has heard directly from Srimad Radharani because he is the parrot of Srimad Radharani. Has heard the glories every day from his associates and directly through the conversation between Radha and Krishna. And then he has heard from Lord Shiva, glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then when he entered in the womb, obviously Vyasadeva is also speaking. He has heard from Vyasadeva also. So that's it. Pravrajantam means he is not in an ordinary state. Ordinary state means sannyas itself is high. Even in that, he is in the Paramahansa Parivirajikacharya state. That means he is completely detached from all the worldly things. He is fully attached to the Supreme Lord, lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And he is fully detached from all the worldly things. So that is his position. But for us, so as Krishna is explaining in the 11th canto, Yadruchya mat katado jata suddha yapman na nirvinno na atisakto. So bhakti yogasya siddhida. So one must not be disgusted with the material world, and at the same time one must be not too much attached to this material world. That means he should think that this body, this has been given, so let me use it in Krishna, use as a bad bargain. This body is given, these resources are given, the money, the whatever we have, whatever resources we have, utilize it for Krishna. Don't reject it. At the same time, don't think that we are the enjoyer, we are the proprietor. That's what Shastra is giving us. So we may not be in that sannyas stage, but being in grihastha ashram also we can act in that way. So provided we have this understanding that we don't reject anything, we accept everything, resources, and use it in Krishna's service. So that is the main point also we have to learn. So Praprajantam means here Sukadeva Goswami is in that stage of consciousness, completely detached. Paramaham like Srila Prabhupada was like that. He has that Vrindavan consciousness in his heart. He was distributing that. Wherever he was in Vrindavan consciousness. Whether in New York or San Francisco, wherever he is distributing, Russia, Japan, so many places Prabhupada went. But wherever he went, he was not bothered or agitated by external things. He is completely attached to the Supreme Lord and distributing on the order of his spiritual master. So Sukadeva Goswami is in that consciousness. Now it is mentioned Anupetam. Anupetam means Upeta. Anapeta is mentioned. Anapeta means Shastra said Upa. Upa means near. Tam means bringing near. So bringing near the disciple, the student, to give Upanayana, to give sacred thread, to give this Gayatri mantra, Gayatri. So that is what is Anapetam means. Sukadeva Goswami didn't go through any of this process. He didn't go through sacred ceremony. Now let's understand the steps. There are various steps. First, let's understand the steps. It is mentioned, first step is as soon as the living entity is born, Janmana Jayate Sudra. As soon as they are born, in Kali Yuga especially, doesn't matter who is father, whether Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, Sudra, doesn't matter. Whoever he is, his father is, still, as soon as by birth, he is Sudra only, lower quality. Then next stage is samskara bhaved dvija. Samskaras. People have to go through samskaras. Samskara means impressions are there in from the previous life. When we are born, we are taking on from previous characteristics. So in order for that to change, we perform samskara. There is a garbhadana samskara, then there is a also at the 7th or 8th month of pregnancy also there is samskara. Then there is Jatak Karana Samskara, Namakarana Samskara, Vivaha Samskara, then this Upanayana Samskara also before that, Jatak Karana, Namakarana, Chudakarana. So like this, total 10 Samskaras are there, Upanayana, in this way, up to Vivaha. So many of these 10 Samskaras, each and every Samskara is nothing but to worship and pray and offer sacrifice to Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, and then change our consciousness. You are being given the knowledge what this sacrifice means, what we are doing, how we are offering various things in these steps, in these sacrifice, in these samskaras. It is not just simply some ritual. It is more than that. Even during Vivaha also, none of us we remember that, but rather suppose they are pujari supposed to explain what that ceremony also. What is the underlying behind the essence behind that? There is much more. Since we perform many Vivaha samskaras here in the temple, so I was able to hear what the detail is, but we don't remember, we don't hear that when we are ourselves getting married. This is the situation in Kali Yuga. So that's why all these samskaras mainly to reform, transform our heart, change our consciousness, change our chitta. So that's why it is mentioned. Before that is Sudra, lower mode, lower quality. Then once they are going through the samskaras, samskarat bhavet dvija, then he will become second, means you will getting the Upanayana samskara, sacred ceremony, then is called Dvija. But many times in this Kali Yuga, even though their father is a Brahmana or Vaishya or Kshatriya, but they are not on the same platform. That's why they are called as sometimes Dvija Bandhus. Dvija Bandhu means their father, mother might be in that Brahmana or whatever, Kshatriya, Vaishya, but they are not acting on that platform. Then they are called in Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, we see many times, many places, Dvija Bandhus. That is the difference between Dvija and Dvija Bandhu. Dvija means you have to act according to that. That means you are accepting the father as spiritual master, teacher, that you go to Gurukul or you always practice under somebody's guidance. This is the beginning stage, not at the higher stage. There are steps. This is still in the beginning stage. Then you are accepting the teacher, and then you are receiving a sacred thread. That is called Upanayana. Bringing near to God, bringing near, trying to come to close to Krishna. That is what. Upavas also same thing. Upa means coming close to. Upavas means by performing this, developing detachment. I will eat less, or I will not think about food, I will think about Krishna. I will spend more time about you and your process, how to come close to you. So that is called Upavas actually. So that means as long as we can remember Krishna throughout the day, if you want to eat more times, that's fine. But ultimate main point is how to remember Krishna throughout the day. That is the main point of the Upavas, austerity, whether it's Ekadasi or any other festivals. So through various services, everybody is inclined, different devotees are inclined to do different things. So whatever our inclination is, we should do one of those or more of those devotional services. Whether it's a Travanam or Kirtanam or Smaranam or Archanam or Vandanam or Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedam. This ways, so we should try to do more than one, because our senses are not fixed up. So that's why if we do physical service also, it helps us to focus, strengthen our actual mind and intelligence in our chanting and in our hearing and other things. So, Yam Pravajantam Anupetam. Yeah, Anupetam means receiving sacred thread. But as Sukadeva Goswami didn't go through any of these steps. But for others, we shouldn't imitate him. We should rather follow the process. For Kali Yuga, it is prescribed generally Vidhi Marga. Vidhi Marga means following the scriptural injunctions of Vedas. Vedas are very strict. This is for previous ages. We follow, but for Kali Yuga, it is more given Pancharatrika Vidhi. That means because of Vedic Vidhi means it is completely, you have to be born by birth Brahmana, you have to follow the samskaras, everything very strict. So we are not in that position. Nobody can claim that they are following such a strict process from the beginning. So that's why the Pancharatrika Vidhi is there. Narada Pancharatra and Hayasirsha Pancharatra coming down from Narada Muni and others. So by that, so anybody can become. They don't need to be a certain state like their father, or they receive Upanayana or not, they perform samskaras or not. They can take up the process as long as they surrender to a spiritual master, they are agreeing, they want to progress, They understand the process of self-realization. They surrender to a spiritual master. And then that is called Pancharatri Vidhi. There will be still a sacrifice. There is still a Parascharya process. 6 months we have to wait before getting initiation minimum. Even Prabhupada time also, very few has given initiation without waiting. Because a disciple has to understand spiritual master understand how the disciple, whether he is able to follow, whether he is able to chant, whether he is able to follow Puragya, all these things are there. That is why this Parascharya process is given in the Shastra. 6 months or more. Now it's even more. After taking shelter 1 year is there's a guidelines to wait, because we have to practice. So if you are not accustomed to chant and follow principles, then it is difficult. So that's why they give that time 1 year. But it's not like a hard line. Depending on spiritual master, if he wants to give, he will be able to give also. But the general principle is that. So it is anupetam. So that is the first stage is Sudra, then next stage is Dvija, then the next stage after receiving sacred it is not end, it is just a beginning. Then there is a Veda Patat Bhaved Vipra. After Dvija, receiving sacred thread, Upanayana, sometimes kids may take up this Upanayana in the earlier stage, but they have to and go through the learning the Shastra under the guidance. That is Veda Patat Bhaved Vipra. I mean, they have to study the Vedic knowledge under the guidance, and then slowly and gradually they will come to the stage of Vipra, which means almost 12 qualities. Vipra's qualities mentioned 12 qualities: Satyam, Sama, Dhamma, Titiksham, Arjavam, Astikyam, all these things. But in that one important quality, if they haven't developed Aravinda Navam, Padaravinda Abhimukasya, if they haven't developed, they are against, they are Vimuka to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, then all other qualities is simply waste. So we might be learned, very learned. That's why we see so many translations of Bhagavad Gita. We may be learned in the Shastra. That doesn't mean that not going to help. Actually, that's not going to help. We might be very learned in the Shastra, and scholarship is not going to help. To understand the Supreme Lord receive is very difficult. Krishna is mentioning that in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjana bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu veda na kaschana. So nobody understands me. Mam tu veda na kaschana. Nobody understands it. It is very difficult to understand unless you are really submissively serving the bona fide spiritual master, Supreme Lord's representative. Then only we can understand this transcendental subject matter, not by scholarship, not by erudite scholarship. So that is what is, that's why Veda Patat Bhaved Vipra. There also it is very important, these qualities. Just step by Sutra to Dvija, Dvija to Vipra, then Vipra to, then Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. Then when he comes to understand, realize that the essence of all these Vedas too is understand, that is the beginning. Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. One who understands that he is the small, minute Brahman, and they understand that Parabrahman is the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, then understand that relationship. This is the beginning stage. Otherwise, you can study Vedas, so Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda, all these 4 Vedas, Upanishads, so many 108 Upanishads, starting with this Upanishad. It's not easy to understand. Studying itself is going to take time. Sanskrit, they have to explain what it means. Janmadhyasya taha. Then Vedanta Sutra is there. One verse. So just to understand that itself, it will take many days and months. Janmadhyasya taha. Not just simply understand. It is not about only the creation, maintenance, destruction. All the energies of the Supreme Lord. All the rasas of the Supreme Lord. That itself is elaborate subject matter. Janmadhyasya taha. And so that's why reading and studying the Vedas under the guidance, then after many, many days, months and years, when he comes to that and realization, Brahma Jana, then he becomes a Brahmana that time. So we see these steps one by one. Sudra to Dvija, Dvija to Vipra, Vipra to Brahmana, then more than a Brahmana is Vaishnava. One who understands that He is servant of the Supreme Lord. He is the Vibhinnamsa. He is separated part and parcel of Krishna. And he is nothing belongs to him. He is always identifying with Krishna. Everything in relation with Krishna. That is what is the Vaishnava means. Anya abhilashita sunyam. Jnana karmada anavrutam. It doesn't have any other. There is no mixed. He is not trying to perform karma mishra bhakti or jnana mishra bhakti. He is performing. He understands everything in pure consciousness. No ambiguities, no confusion, no speculation. He is not trying to follow his own ideas and things. He is following exactly what Shastra is telling. So that is called Vaishnava. So Vaishnava is above Brahmana. Now in Kali Yuga, as I was describing, Pancharatrika Vidya is being followed. Pancharatrika Vidya is gives even Mam hi Partha Vipasitya Epi Papa Yona Sriyo Vaisya Sudra Yati Paramam Gati. So whether they are on the lower birth, Sudra or whatever, doesn't matter. Whoever, anyone who is in any stage can, as soon as they surrender to bona fide spiritual master, Vipasritya, Asritya means taking shelter. By taking shelter of the Supreme Lord through a representative, bona fide representative, then automatically he will be able to come to the highest stage, Vaishnava stage. We don't need to go from Sudra to Dvija to Vipra to Brahmana to Vaishnava, these many stages. We can directly become a Vaishnava. So that's why so many caste Goswamis and this hardliner, those who are ritualistic, they are very much against when Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur or Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur, even Sri Prabhupada, giving and initiating disciple from the Western world, those who are from US and Europe and Philippines and Japan. The people are very much this thing, but later on they could say at least most of the people, but still they will find people who are against these things. They think it is only limited to those who are born by birth Brahmana, this and that, so many things. But it is not. Shastra is clearly giving that. For Kali Yuga especially, this process is given of Pancharatric Vidhi. So we follow that during the initiation, Pancharatric Vidhi, that means as it is coming under Agama Shastra. We take initiation and fire sacrifice. We wear the neck beads, becoming a servant of Krishna and his devotees. And our name gets changed. All these are the process of Pancharatric Vidhi. But then that more important than that is Bhagavad Vidya, which means Sravanam and Kirtanam, under the guidance of bona fide spiritual master and advanced devotee. In the association of devotees, we are constantly chanting and hearing and remembering, so discussing Matchitta Matgata Prana, Bodhayantas Parasparam, Katayantas Chamam, Tushyanti Ramanticha. They are always discussing, conversing with one another in the association of devotees. So that is the idea Shastra is telling, Krishna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita. So this is the process of, here it is mentioned, this is for others, for us, for all of us who are in Kali Yuga. This is the process we need to follow step by step. But here Sukadeva Goswami, being enlightened at 16 years of age, because he was associate of Sri Radha and Krishna, has heard the glories from them, from Lord Shiva and from Yasdev, until 16 years in the womb, when he received the mercy from Krishna that he will not be attracted by Maya, then immediately he came out and left. And then Vyasdev was very much aggrieved. That's why it is mentioned, Yam Prabhajantam. He was not an ordinary person, he was a Paramahansa Parivra. That means by birth itself, he was already at the exalted stage. He doesn't need, he can sit at one place and remember and chant and perform devotion service in a pure state of consciousness. He doesn't need to do anything. But we can see, he spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. Whenever there is a need, there is a perfect opportunity, who really inquiring and really wanting to know and understand Krishna, that's when Krishna arranges everything. So here Sukadeva Goswami, nobody knows where he lives, and suddenly he walks in the assembly of Parikshit Maharaj, so many sages. So even Vyasdev also thinks Sukadeva Goswami is exalted than him. So because you can imagine, he was directly associate of Sri Radha and Krishna. So at 16 years, he didn't perform undergoing any ceremonies. Praprajantam Anupeta. He didn't go through sacred thread ceremony or he didn't study under somebody. Obviously, he has studied and received from Radha and Krishna and Lord Shiva and Vyasdev himself. He was hearing within the womb for 16 until 16 years. So that's why it is Anupetam means. But when it comes 12, we shouldn't imitate. Prabhupada is explaining. Anupetam, apeta krutyam, and no other ceremonies are performed. Neither sacred thread ceremony, no other ceremony, no formal initiation, no formally any other sacrifice, and no others. Minute he born, he left immediately. Because he is not an ordinary person to go through. Sometimes we see that all the great acharyas, we see that sometimes, even Madhvacharya, so at 6 years itself, he was able to study everything, finished all the Shastra. He could speak. So the way they are born, so many aspects of this great exalted personalities, Vaishnavas, so they are not ordinary people. They are pure devotees coming down. Uttam Adhikari is coming down from the Vaikuntha to come down to this material world to distribute on the order of especially Srimati Radharani. They are all associates. So that's why it is very important to understand this aspect. Jam Praprajantam Anupetam Apeta Krutyam. That's what he didn't go through any of these ceremonies. He didn't perform any reformation process, no parascharya, no waiting period, nothing. Anupeta Krutyam. Virakatra Ajuhava. Here, because Sukadeva Goswami is remembering who is my spiritual master. Sukadeva Goswami is not ordinary person. He is remembering and reminding. So that means he is telling that we have to, as Prabhupada is given, samsara dava nalaneda loka tranaya karunya gana ganaptam praptasya kalyana gunarnavasya vande guru sri charanarvindam. So that's why we are supposed to chant these Guruvastaka prayers. We chant in the Mangalarati, say 8 verses, speaking about what are the activities of a spiritual master. What does he do? Nama, Rupa, Guna and Leela. How he chants, how he dances, how he carries the mood of Mahaprabhu, how he understands his mood and consciousness, how he is fully absorbed in that holy name, and how he is absorbed in the worship of Radha and Krishna, how he is carrying out his duties of Radha and Krishna service, and how he is assisting his associates, Manjaris, Radharani's associates, in this way one by one. And so whole Shastra is explaining how spiritual master is a direct representative of Supreme Lord, Sevaka Bhagavan. Then finally it is mentioned the 3 and 4 kinds of food he is offering. In this way, these 8 verses are explaining, and then we are supposed to do Jayam Stutasya Isastri Sandhyam 3 times a day. So that's why here Sukadeva Goswami is speaking about Sukadeva Goswami is remembering. Minute they asked questions, immediately he remembered. He didn't directly speak, he remembered his spiritual master. Not only he remembered his activities. What kind of consciousness he is situated and what he has done. He is giving that indication. How he was pure from his birth. Immediately left, then Vyasdev sent his disciples. Anupeda Apeda Krutyam. So even the trees were exclaiming, he is also not ordinary person. Sarva Bhota Hrudayam. He is there in everybody, just like Krishna is there in everybody's heart. Even the trees could understand. So trees could understand and echo. He is not going to come back. He doesn't want to be attached to this material nature. Father, mother, all these relations, he doesn't want to be bound up. So that's why he left. So these trees echoed, responded to Vyasdev was very much agreed. First of all, because he was waiting for a disciple, he wants to make sure, because he didn't go through any reformation, because he didn't get a chance to speak to him about Srimad Bhagavatam, more than like a father-son attachment. He wants to train him up, he wants to give him. So in that way, he was thinking to make him the preacher, and in that way. Then obviously he left, then immediately he sent 2 people or more to bring him back. He knows, he devised a plan to chant the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially how Krishna has killed Putana, and when he killed a demon personality itself to send, but he has given Dhatri position, the greatest position in this whole world for a demon. Krishna has given. So then he told them to chant this verse, and he told them to chant this Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajeshatane Tadham Sri Vrindavan Ramya Kachadupasana Vrajavadu Vargena Yakal Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamalam Prema Pumardo Maha Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatra Adharana. So this verse we can chant, and we can, while paying offering obeisances, while seeing the deity. So because this is the more than Devaki Nandan, we are always interested and thinking about Nandan Yashoda Nandan. So that's why Aradhya Bhagavan Rajesha Tanaya. We are always thinking about that Shyam Krishna. We are not interested in so much interested in Vasudev Krishna and other forms. So because killing the demons and perform all this killing comes and all others, this is done by Vasudev Krishna, not Shyam Krishna. Shyam Krishna is fully busy in his pastimes, performing amorous pastimes with in Sakya, Vatsalyam, that's all he does. He doesn't go and kill. That is done by Vasudev Krishna. So that's why this verse is chanted. So that's why you can understand the beautiful nature of the Supreme Lord, and also giving the merciful nature of the Supreme Lord. By hearing as soon as, then he started running back, and he asked them, hey, who has, how did you sing, where this is, who has given this knowledge? Then he ran back, then they brought him back to the hermitage of Vyasdev. Then Vyasdev explained the whole Srimad Bhagavatam again. He has heard the womb already before. Then he also explained Srimad Bhagavatam again to Sukadeva Goswami. So in this way, then later on we see that how he has spoken this Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj in that assembly at the bank of Ganga and Yamuna. So in this way we understand Yam Prabhajantam Anupetam Apeta Krutyam. So the lesson for us is we don't imitate, but rather we try to surrender to a bona fide spiritual master and follow the process of this, that how to be a submissive and sincerely serve and remember and pray to the Supreme Lord every day. Just like Sukadeva Goswami, despite he was not ordinary, he was not like us. He has heard from directly, he was associated Radha and Krishna. He has heard from Shiva, Lord Shiva, great Vaishnava. He was not ordinary, but still he was praying. He doesn't want to come out. He doesn't want to. So that means constantly it is telling, he is indicating from this verse that every day our prayer must be, please Krishna, my Supreme Lord, spiritual master, please let me not be attracted by Maya, by your external energy, by your glaring effulgence, Mahamaya. Let me always be under your Yoga Maya. So let me be always attracted by your internal energy. So in this way our prayer should be there every day, so that Krishna can give intelligence and consciousness, so that we are on the right track, we don't fall into lower modes. So that is the important instruction we are getting here, but not imitate, not jump onto some other steps, directly want to go to the holy place, renounce everything, give up the job, give up the family, or all this kind of speculation shouldn't be there. Even though it may be difficult to carry out our duties wherever, whatever situation we are in, single or married or whatever situation we are in. So it's not easy. It's not. People think that those who are in Brahmacharya Ashrama, they are happy. They don't have anything, no parent, nothing. They are, they are free bird. They think, but it seems externally outside it looks like that. So sometimes people think those who are on the grastram, at least they are there, somebody is cooking, somebody is serving, they don't need to worry about so much about all these things. So outside externally it looks like that, but in every ashram, in every situation, there are always challenges. Nothing is free. Nothing is free from disturbance. In every ashram, whether single or married or vanapas, sannyas also. That's why even in sannyas also you can see, even in disciples also you can see. So Prabhupada's disciples, so many are there. So it is not easy to perform. Real sannyas means doesn't matter what's going on, you are always carrying out the duty of spiritual master. Rain or cold, or whether you are going to be given prasadam or not, whether you are going to have a place to sleep or not, no fear at all whatsoever, no fear. So that is the situation. That's you can see And Srila Prabhupada, in that consciousness only, he could travel everywhere throughout the world. And nobody can do that. How much surrender he had. So that is the same thing we can see from his disciples, current spiritual master also we can see. Otherwise, it's not possible. Obviously, sometimes among the sannyasis also we may see sometimes not everybody will travel or everybody may not do continuously like how Srila Prabhupada. Obviously, Srila Prabhupada is Uttamadhikari and pure devotee of the Lord. So we have to understand this from it's not easy. Sannyasa is not just wearing a cloth, it is more. Same way our initiation is also not easy. It is just a beginning, as it is mentioned. So Diksha, it is mentioned, Divya Jnanam Chapayati iti Diksha. Initiation means Diksha, Sanskrit. So Divya Jnanam, we need to receive transcendental knowledge. Chapayati means one who gives realization, reveals his heart of the Supreme Lord, reveals the heart of the previous spiritual master. By bona fide the Guru will reveal the heart of his previous spiritual master and his heart of the transcendental knowledge in the heart of the disciple, in the heart of the practitioner who wants to surrender. So that's how this Diksha process is a heart to heart connection. The spiritual master be in presence. He cannot be like you take a statue and you try to worship him and make him a guru. It's not going to work like there must be a guru must be in physically in connection. So at least there should be first. After that he'll leave the planet. That's a different story. But at least there should be aspiring shelter. That process there should be some connection. Then later on, then we can accept from someone else on his behalf like that. But otherwise, the physical presence of a guru is very much needed. So we can see from here, and then further he is explaining about how the spiritual master Sukadeva Goswami, he has assimilated, not only learned all this. Learning is one thing. He learned, received knowledge from Radha and Krishna, Lord Shiva, and then Vyasadeva. Then what did he do? He assimilated all that. That's why he was not attached. He was walking. While he was walking, we will see from later on verses from Canto chapter 4. While he was walking, all the ladies who were taking bath in the river, everybody covered their clothes. When Sukadeva Goswami is walking, they didn't care. Nobody cared. Because he was completely detached. He was not, his eyes, his ears, nothing is thinking about any of the material things. He is completely focused on Supreme Lord. He is not externally, because he is completely naked, 16 years old, he is young, youthful, but he is not worried about his beauty, he is not worried about what is going on around him, who is there, what's happening, nothing. Nothing he was worried about. So that's why they didn't cover. But the minute Vyasadeva walked in, then they started covering. Then Vyasadeva asked them, why is that so? Why is this difference? Then they told that obviously he was not attached to this material. He is completely aloof. But you are in the Grahastha ashram. Those who are in the Grahastha ashram, he has to differentiate between male and female, differentiate because of that position. So in that way they acted. So we can understand from that, from this third verse, Sukadeva Goswami is not, is mentioned? Swanubhavam, by his own self-realized, he has acted on that platform. That's why he is speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, because he has assimilated that knowledge, realized it, practiced it his whole life from his birth. Within the womb and from his birth, as soon as he is born also, he is completely absorbed in that Supreme Lord. Full of greed, intense greed. Tatra laulyam ekalam mulyam. Only thing we can purchase if it is available, intense greed. Where we have to purchase? Where is it available? The greed. If Krishna consciousness has to be purchased, then we must purchase it from a bona fide representative who has intense devotion, intense greed for previous spiritual master and Krishna. From them we have to purchase. How will we purchase? It is not by market, you pay some money and get it. We have to really beg, that means by menial service, by our consciousness, by hearing from them, by reading from them, by their books. Then we understand what is the consciousness, what exactly they are telling us, what they are teaching us. Then slowly and gradually we understand, and then we connect then we have a heart-to-heart exchange. We may not be physically present in front of Guru, but the Guru and disciple communication can go on without being in presence, because Supreme Lord is there to have that exchange of rasa to go on between the disciple and spiritual master and revealing of that transcendental knowledge. Tesham evanukampardam aham ajnanajam tamo nasayami atmabhavastu gnanadipena vasuta. Even somebody who is illiterate, because not everybody is a scholar, they may not understand so much about the Sanskrit or the verses, they may not remember things, but if they are into that menial service, they are trying to develop that heart-to-heart relation between a disciple and spiritual master, then that is the actual self-realization. Swa Anubhavam is putting that into practice. Then only when he has that heart-to-heart relationship, then only he can put that into practice. He has realized it by practice. So that is what it means. Sukadeva Goswami has realized it by his own practice. Swanubhavam Akila Shruti Saram Ekam. He has, and Shruti means Vedanta. Vedas and Upanishads and Puranas, and Vedanta means it is ending. And then Bhagavad Purana is the ultimate, the Amala Purana, one and only Ekam. Shruti Saram Ekam. This is the essence of all, because everything is rejected. Secondary dharmas, thirdary, the other dharmas, no other material dharmas are is mentioned at a high level, but real thing, the real substance about the devotional service, how to be used, everything, that's what is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Dharma projita kaita vatra paramo nirmatsana. This is not for envious people. They cannot, that's why even Shankaracharya didn't go in detail of this. They has given Sharirik Bhashya, but really he didn't go, he didn't touch the actual real essence. He has given some commentary, but he has mentioned also Narayana Para Abhyakta. Narayana is not of this material nature. We are not God. So God is different from us. We are Anu, he is Vibhu, he is God, we are minute God. We are part and parcel of God. We can never become God. So that's what we can see. Akila Shruti Saram Ekam. Adhyatma Deepam Atititirshadam Tamavandam. So in order for the living, and he is Sukadeva Goswami, only purpose he has come out and he has entered and he has want to distribute this knowledge to, that's why he was not staying even for, it is mentioned, why did this Sukadeva Goswami so walked in to here? Because generally he doesn't stay more than a few minutes at a home while he is taking milk, receiving milk or something from the house. Then how did he come here? What is his purpose? So this is there in the next chapter, 4th or 5th. So that means Sukadeva Goswami's only reason, only purpose is to deliver the fallen souls. Purana Guhya, most confidential subject matter, Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's why here Sukadeva Goswami is glorifying the Supreme Law, glorifying his spiritual master. How? Otherwise the living entities are like as Prabhupada is explaining that purport, like the camels bringing and eating the thorns and then chewing that blood again and again. Still they are not feeling any difficulty. It is tasting nice. That's what camel is thinking. Same way, the living entities are also thinking, whatever I am doing, it is very nice, happy and pleasurable. Even though there is a distress, there is so many unwanted things are coming out. The result by performing those activities, but still they are not realizing it. How to come out of that? How to give up those unwanted tendencies? How to come to the pure state of consciousness by following the process of this Bhagavad Dharma, which will be spoken later on from verse number 6 onwards. Very, very important sections is coming up. This chapter is the most important chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam in the beginning stage. If we understand that, then gradually we'll understand the Narada's pastime, we'll understand Vyasdev's history, we'll understand Bhishma Pitama's surrender, we'll understand one by one the process. If you don't understand this divinity and divine service, especially verse number 6 onwards, it will be hard to understand and go deeper into Srimad Bhagavatam. With that, we'll stop here. We'll sing Jagannath Ashtakam. Then we'll take questions. Okay, if any. Mataji, Satyabhama Mataji, you are there? Yeah, go ahead. You can sing Jagannath Ashtam then. Yeah.
Sure. Hare Krishna, Danda Pranam to everyone, all glorious Lapotas.
Yeah, go ahead, Mati. Yeah, KK songs. Anybody wants to refer? This Jagannath Ashtam is there. If you have a ISKCON song book, it is there. That otherwise you go to kkSongs.com and then you can search for Jagannath Ashtam lyrics. Yeah, go ahead, Mati.
कदाचित् कालिन्दे तट विपिन सङ्गीतसहाओ मुदा वीरिनारी वद अमलस्वदमधुपा रमा शम्भु ब्रह्मामर पति गणेशाच्युतपादो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे भुजे सौम्य वेणुं शिरशिखि पिछं घटितटे दुकूलं नेत्रान्ते स कटाक्षमविद्यते सदा श्रीमद्वृन्दावनं वसति लीला परिचयो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे महाबोधिधीरे सर्वं कनकरुचिरे नीलशिखरे वसन्तासदान्तः बलभद्रनवन्यिना सुभद्रामत्यसस्तक सुरसेववसंहरो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे तथा पारवारसन जगदर्शिनी रुचिरो रमावाणी सौम्यसुर अमलपङ्केरुमुखे सुरेन्द्रराध्य श्रुति गणशिखगीतचरितो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे सखारूढो गच्छन् पथिं नीलसङ्गसुदेव पठान्ये स्तुतिर्प्रादुर्भावं प्रति मुख उपकर्णसदय दया सिन्धुभानो सकल जगदसिन्धु सुताया जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे परब्रह्म क्रीडभुवन सदलोत्फुल्लनयनो निवासी नीलादोनिः चरणनन्दो शिरसि रसानन्दो राधारस पुरालिङ्गना सुको जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे नवेदार्थं रचन्न च कलकितभोगविभावम् न याचेनं रम्यामृखे जनकं वरवधूम् मुदाभिरिनारी वद अमलक्षदमरूप रमा शम्भु ब्रह्मामर पति गणेश सूतपादो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनापथगामी भवतु मे
Thank you.
जगन्नाथ स्वामी पथगामी भवतु
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Jagannath Ashtakam ki jai. So you all, the class, please chant, please offer the ghee lamp to Radha Syam Sundar, Sri Jagannath Baldev, and also offer that lamp. Once you offer, generally the process is you show it to Guru Parampara if you have, and then show it to Panchatattva, Jagannath Baldev, then you offer to Radha Syam Sundar, then you come down, offer to Jagannath Baldev, then you come down, offer to Gaurnitai, then we offer to Tulsi Maharani, then we offer to Guru Parampara, and then our spiritual master. If you have Shiva, Lord Shiva, you can offer also after offering to Tulsi Maharani. And then that way we offer back. So offering like it